Hey, Coach, terrific win. Particular that run in the second half, pretty unusual lineup you had on the floor. Just what was your thinking there? Was there anything in particular you were trying to make happen when you guys had that kind of long extended run with a pretty small lineup?
We needed to change momentum. We needed to change. It wasn't about positions as much then as it just was about energy and toughness and movement. And anytime we have Jackson and KD in there, they bring an energy level and they bring a competitiveness level that I think helps the guys. And so it was a makeshift lineup, not based on who's guarding who, but who's going to fight, compete, get on that glass. In Jackson's case, the way he steps up and draws charges, those are really, really important things. And so we basically played about 8 guys in that span, and we were able to figure it out, which after the timeout we took, I thought they really regrouped. I thought they changed. And then we started to have some success again.
Coach, what can this win do for your team's momentum when you face further situations like that 13?
Well, I think we've come from behind before, but this is a really, really good team that's ranked for a reason. And I think to be able to come back like that, because it wasn't like they were sabotaging their experience, right? Like they're playing hard. They weren't self-inflicting their own wounds. They were really going. And so we had to earn it. And I think that was really, really important that we kept that pressure on. They're really good. I mean, they're really good. And I know they're missing Tillman, but they're even faster when he's not in there. And Konzo's a heck of a coach. But I think the way we came back and got the momentum, the fact that we did it against such a good team, the fact that some guys were really, really on the attack, like Justin, KD, Severe, Andrew, those things can only hopefully help us, because we're fully aware of how good Florida is as we go in there on Saturday.
All right, up next, let's have Mark Weiser and then Mike Griffith.
Your team seemed to be pretty locked in terms of playing with desperation. I think one of your 2 players mentioned that. How important was that, given, the opponent and how?
Well, I think, I use the term desperate. The term I heard a long time ago from Doug Collins, which I've used for so long, is you got to play blue collar desperate. But I'm not sure. We just say we've got to be tough. We had to be extremely aggressive against them. We had to be tough because they are. And the team that was most committed to the hustle game was going to win the game. And that's where the desperate comes in. And it's not desperate that we need to win. It's desperate that we need to compete at a higher level and a better level than what we have. And if you do that, then you're putting yourself in position to win. So that's what was most important about that. And I thought we had a lot of contributions, 5 guys in double figures, Jackson with 9. We had 16 deflections in the first half, which was not good. We have 46 for the game. KD gets 14 for the game. That's 30 deflections more. That says a lot about our defense. We had 8 3 stops in a row, and we had 6 3 scores in a row. And when you hit over 7 in both of those, it's tough to lose. And we have, but it's tough to lose. And because the whole key is that consistency. Once you get momentum back, can you stay consistent with it? And I thought our guys did a good job of that.
Coach, could you comment on just the poise tonight? I mean, you got obviously not out of the woods. You got a trip to Florida and a really good LSU team coming up, but just the poise this team's showing at this stage of the season.
Well, they were locked in, and again, the game Saturday. I've said this before, but I mean, they have to be reminded. Okay, listen, we just won 3 in a row. All right, we just won 5 out of 7. We came back on Tennessee. We didn't play very well at the beginning. It's a 14-point game. And I reminded of this one time at a timeout and when it was 13. All right. We missed a 3 that we shouldn't have taken. We were in the bonus. We have the bonus tonight at the 13:07 mark of the I think it was 13:07 of the second half. But because we knew that was going to be a key part of the game. So let's make sure we stay with that. It wasn't about taking a jump shot. It wasn't about trying to make a move. It was about getting to the rim. And we had just been in this position the other day. We miss 2 shots and have a turnover. They score 3 straight times. That's where the margin for error is not real high for us. So we needed to really make sure that we were good and solid. And if we were going to come back, we couldn't be beating ourselves while we were coming back. We had to trust what was happening and get ourselves into that bonus. And I think we might have been at 2 or 3 team fouls at that point. And then to get it as quick as we did in the bonus, that's a good recipe for us, because now we can set our defense and it helps keep them out of transition.
Quick follow, can you comment on Justin Kyrie? He's a guy you told us you believed in.
Oh, absolutely. Justin was extremely locked in. And I would say with PJ and Justin, we put a little extra focus on them the last few days, at least I have. And it's basically reminding them what they're capable of. Justin making sure that he's getting to the basket, playing assertively. PJ trusting his shot. There's always a few little technical things you need to remind guys of when they're at their best, but sometimes it's just a feel and a spirit that they've got to have and that they know they're capable. And those guys, Justin and PJ, I've coached guys and coached teams that didn't have teams or didn't have guys on the team full of guys that really tried hard, or even they could live and die, or they didn't live and die with the losses. Those 2 kids, and Andrew's the same way. Those 2 kids overthink it. They overwork. They really want to be good. And sometimes you got to back that off too. And you just got to get them back to square one on what's most important for them. And it starts with their spirit. It starts with their confidence, building that confidence back up, not because I say it, but because I remind them of what they've done and what they're capable of. And then we continue to help them work to get there.
All right, let's have Jason Butt and then Ryan Curley.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned getting into the bonus. When you're in the bonus that early and then you get 4 points from the free throw line within a minute, I mean, just how much does that change the complexion of being able to come back?
Obviously it does. I mean, because you're not only putting them in foul trouble, all right, you're not only getting 2 points potentially right there, you're able to set your defense. You're able to, they have to go against 5 guys. And that's so important, especially for a team that runs in transition like they do. And but our guys did a better job. We made better adjustments. We guarded Kobe Brown better in the second half. In the post, we got away from our game plan a little bit, and but we got that back. And I think the adjustments that the guys made, getting back to what was most important on the defensive end, with the pressure, with the fronting of the post, we did a better job challenging the shots, and that created some runouts for us. And attacking the rim got us to the foul line.
Hey, Coach, how much do you think your comeback in this game compared to not being able to come back the last 2 second halves came down to execution?
I would say, yeah, execution is always going to be a part of it. No question about it. Every game is different. And we weren't giving them a lot of live ball turnovers, which is huge. So execution obviously is a big part of it. Putting multiple stops together is a big part of that. Being active defensively. This past Saturday, we weren't as active defensively as we needed to be. We weren't as active defensively in the first half against Tennessee as we needed to be, but we picked it up. And we don't have any choice but to be that way, because that's the way the game's got to be played. And that's when we're at our best.
All right, the last 2 questions, we're going to have Tori Heck and then Griffin Callahan.
Coach, you mentioned the phrase blue collar desperate. Can you elaborate on what that means to you? Because I feel like it really embodies how you guys play.
It's getting on the floor. It's drawing charges. It's winning 50-50s. It's attacking the rim. It's not looking for a foul call. All right. It's not worrying or whining when something doesn't go your way. You're locked in. I mean, blue collar people, if they're having a bad day, nobody cares, right? And that's what it is in basketball. They got to show up and they got to go to work. They've got to show up and they've got to be at work to feed their families, and they don't get to have bad days. Well, you know what? That's where we're at in college basketball right now too. None of this is promised us, let alone being in a program like this. We can never take it for granted, but more than ever, you can never take a day for granted in a COVID year like this, with as many games are getting canceled left and right, and tomorrow is not promised. So you've got to do the very best you can do inside of that day. And if they're going to be successful in life, it isn't going to be because they were passive and laid back, right? So it's going to be because, they put their hard hat on, so to speak, and they played harder, and they were really committed to playing with one another. That's what you can't have just a couple of guys that are blue collar, a couple of guys that are really locked in. You got to have a team full. And I think our guys, especially in the second half, did a much better job of that.
Coach, I know you said Missouri was maybe quicker without Tillman on the floor, but do you think his absence gave you maybe a slight advantage?
I shouldn't have said quick, just faster getting up the floor. I shouldn't have said quick because he can really play and he blocks shots. I interrupted. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, do you think that absence maybe gave you guys an advantage on the glass tonight?
Maybe. Yeah, it's hypothetical. I don't know. He wasn't here, so we'll never know. We just had to be aggressive, and that's the most important thing. But they're a really good team, and hopefully he comes back for them the way that he's capable of and has the senior year that he's fully capable of having. And I'm a big fan of what Missouri does. I love the way they play. That's why it's extra special to get a win like that, because you know you got to earn it. They're not going to give you the game. You've got to truly earn it. And proud of how they did that, our guys.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Right. Thank you.
We'll have a recording to you shortly.